I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at a place called Hurstbourne Tarrant. It's about 8 miles to the north of Andover in Hampshire, and the A343 main Andover to Newbury road goes through the village. Now today we're going to be doing a roughly 4.5 mile circular walk. We'll have a quick look through the village itself before heading west over meadows to a tiny hamlet of Ibthorpe, then out into the countryside, up Windmill Hill and back through Hurstbourne Common and Doles Copse back to the village. Well, William Cobbett, in his book Rural Rides that he published I think in the 1820s, described Hurstbourne Tarrant as, and I quote, "The village is a sight worth going many miles to see, with beauty at every turn." Now I'm filming in the middle of July. It's going to be one of the hottest days of the year. I'm already squinting in the sunshine. So we're going to be doing our walk very early in the morning while it's still cool, although we've got plenty of water with us. Although as you can see, Logan's quite happily snoozing in the morning sunshine. We're just making our way along Church Street. This magnificent building here, Parsonage Farm, a Georgian house, dates to 1685 with 19th century additions. And sure enough, the pillars either side of the entrance have got the date up there. Spectacular houses here on the left. It's one thatched cottage after another. Look at that. Beautiful. With the beams painted black and the green door. And look at this one further along, painted white. Beautiful. Now this, I believe, is the oldest house in the village, Shepherd's Peace, with the roses outside, and I believe this one dates from the 15th century. What have we got here? The old bakery. Oh, look at the top on the thatch. The cat must be chasing a rat by the looks of things. Brilliant. Now this is at the end of Church Street, the old plough and Little Plough and Martins, formerly a coaching inn from the 16th century with some later 19th century additions. It's now 2 cottages. And over the road there, that's the Georgian Dragon. There's probably been an inn here for many centuries. And the present building has parts that date, well, certainly back to the 16th century when it was a coaching inn. It was reopened in 2015 after a long closure, I believe. And I have got a photograph that I got off the internet that shows what it looked like back in the 1940s. And finally, our quick tour through the village's ends here with another couple of quite alluring cottages, thatched. Really pretty. Well, behind me here is the Church of St Peter in the village. The nave and north and south aisles date from the end of the 12th century, and it was lengthened in the 14th century. The porch there was added in the 15th century and was restored in 1908, and the chancel was practically rebuilt in the 19th century. The tower with its octagonal spire was erected in 1897. I think it's got 3 bells. And the door here on the west side, as you can see, studded with nails, still swinging on the fleur-de-lis hinges that have obviously borne it for at least 600 years. And isn't that lovely with the rose arch as well? Well, just inside the porch with this wonderful door. I don't know if you can see on the side here a carving of a bird's head, and then on the other side I think that's supposed to be a dragon. I'm not 100% sure, but both these carvings at least 800 years old. Well, I've parked my car at the community centre. It's behind the school that's opposite the church. Hurstbourne Tarrant, the Tarrant part of the name, dates back to 1226, when the village was gifted to the Cistercian Tarrant Nunnery. Before then it was known as King's Hurstbourne. Okay, well, we're going to make our way from the church westwards. Going to go to this delightful little meadow full of butterflies. Some terrific views already. You can probably see behind me really beautiful view, and you can understand why this area is known as the Hampshire Highlands. And in fact, on our return journey we'll be coming back through those woods and down that field. And look at that barn there. I think that's part of the parsonage farm, and it dates back to the 18th century, but it's huge. Okay, we're now crossing the A343. I love these old green metal footpath signs that you often seem to get in Hampshire. So I'm going to follow along this little footpath here. We're now on the Test Way. That's that 44-mile long distance path from Windmill Hill in West Berkshire to Ealing near Southampton. It follows much of the course of the River Test. I'm continuing to head westwards through these fields. Now, just a few yards in front of me to the left is, well, the River Swift, although I expect it's pretty dried up this time of year. It's a Hampshire chalk stream. It rises in the west of the parish at Upton, and it's known as the River Swift basically from Upton to Hurstbourne Tarrant, and then the name changes to Bourne Rivulet, although it's known locally as the Bourne, and then it joins the River Test near Tufton. And then just in the far distance, that's our next destination, the outskirts of Ibthorpe. And I think, yeah, that large building there is the Ibthorpe Manor Farm. I'm just going through this delightful little shaded woodland, which I'm presuming is called Doles Copse. But look down here, some gravestones or memorials to horses and ponies. A little poignant area as a memory to them. We're now at Ibthorpe, and if you like pretty country thatched cottages, then this place is a little bit of heaven. Let's go and have a look. And this is a prime example. What does that say? Honeybee Cottage. Isn't that pretty? And another one. What's that? Lime Cottage. I love the one up on the top there. It's a small hamlet. It gets its name, well, it's Old English, Ibthorpe, or Ibber's secondary settlement. And just on the right there, we can just see the back of Ibthorpe Manor Farm. Very impressive building, early 18th century, but it was refurbished in 2007. And another one. I keep saying, oh, that's my favourite, that's my favourite. I love this one. What does that say? 1751. Again with the roses up by the door. I love the ducks on the top as well. Well, I have to say Ibthorpe must be one of the prettiest little villages that I've seen on the series so far. Now, this very impressive house just behind my shoulder is Ibthorpe House. It dates from the 18th century, and it was a large farmhouse of the period, but probably famous for the fact that Jane Austen was a frequent visitor here. And close by to the Ibthorpe House is the White Hart House, which dates from the early 19th century, and it used to be a pub. In fact, I've found a picture on the internet of when it was a pub, and I'll see if I can do a then and now comparison. Anyway, we're going to start heading eastwards again before we head out into the countryside. Oh, as if we haven't seen enough of some thatched cottages, some more to have a look at. They just keep coming, don't they? Okay, so we're going to carry along this little road here, and now let's have a look. I think this is the River Swift, and yeah, sure enough, it is completely dry. Now, if you're going to be doing this walk and following it from the video, this is an important point to look out for. We'll be heading back towards Hurstbourne Tarrant, and you need to look out for this little cottage called Boundary Cottage. It's opposite to the old toll house, and we're going to follow a track heading southwards. I'll continue to make my way southwards along that track. It's called Dolomons Way, and it's the old boundary line between Hurstbourne Tarrant and Ibthorpe. But it's a lovely shaded track, but from time to time you can pop out either side of the track and admire the views. Prime example behind me here, looking south. Gorgeous view. Isn't that wonderful? And those woods in the far distance will be coming through on our homeward leg, and in front of me there's a crop of looks like broad beans. Not sure whether it's for human consumption or possibly for animal feed, I'm not sure. But what a peaceful scene, and glorious blue sky with not a cloud to be seen. I've enjoyed a lovely gentle uphill walk through some shaded woods and just getting to the top of Dolomons Lane. I think I accidentally called it Dolomons Way earlier on. Anyway, again, if you're following this walk, at the top of the lane there's a Y junction, and you need to take the right hand fork again through some woods. Oh wow, look at that. Ibthorpe Tower. It's a water tower built in 1900 to supply water to Windmill's house, which is just to my left. And we're on Windmill Hill, so I guess there must have been a windmill here at some stage. Okay, so we're just going to follow this little road here, and then there should be a footpath just to my right. That's going to take us along the side of a field. I've got my directions right. Yes, here we go. Oh, look at that. It looks like a field of barley, not far off, ready for harvest, I should think. And so we're going to follow this path that takes us on the boundary of the field. Some more stunning views. Over to the east there is Hurstbourne Common, which existed in Norman times. Very mixed vegetation with a large number of oak trees, many 200 or 300 years old. And then panning around, this is looking south, another crop of beans in front of us. And then over to the west is Blagdons Copse, and well, somewhere in there's an Iron Age enclosure as well as a couple of barrows. And then just behind me, If I turn the camera around slowly, just up here on the right is Windmill's House, a 19th century villa extended in 1920, and what terrific views they have. But I don't think I'm going to be able to see too much of the house itself because it's at the end of a very long driveway. Well, we've been heading eastwards across the A343 again, and I've been making our way through another bit of woodland, Doles Copse. In fact, it's a great walk to do on a really sunny day in the summer because there's lots of shade with all the woodland that we've been going through. Now again, if you're following this walk, there is one little signpost just to look out for in the middle of Doles Copse, just behind me here. This is the little sign. I say I nearly missed it with all the stinging nettles and what have you. You can just about see it there. And we're going to carry on now, heading southwards down a valley and back into the village. Oh, it's quite delightful in this Doles Copse. Lovely and cool, sun making its way through the foliage above. All different types of tree. A lot of beech around here actually. The odd oak tree. Birds twittering away in the background. Very, very peaceful. Well, we very much are on the homeward leg now. Got Hurstbourne Tarrant behind me here. We've just made our way off Doles Copse, came down a fairly steep descent, but it wasn't too bad. There were railings to help me. But what a beautiful last view that I've got here behind me. It really is. I keep struggling sometimes to find words to describe some of these views. In front of me I've got a crop of looks like oats, and there's the church and the village and the crop gleaming in this beautiful sunshine, and some cows peacefully grazing on the side of the hill there. Well folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment. And as I always say, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and that way hopefully you'll be able to join us for another walk sometime in the future. And do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. Well, I've had another super day today. I mean, the weather has been glorious. It's been quite hot, but we've had plenty of water to drink. And well, both Hurstbourne Tarrant and Ibthorpe, such pretty places. Some of those properties, oh, I'll tell you, when I win the lottery. Anyway, we're off to find a nice drink somewhere. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. Well done.